Well, hello, guys. It is February 5th. I'm fresh out of the shower. You got me all squeaky clean. And we're going to do some fun shit on here. I was on Colton's live yesterday, and they were watching videos. Like, he watched Iron Man, and they're like commenting. And so I was like, I want to do like live shows. I want to like watch Superbad or Tropic Thunder and see how many leftists we can make cry. But oh, shameless plug, Battle Mead back in stock. Go pick some up. It is probably the most high-tech intra workout on the planet. And we've got pre-workout, Fenner's Fury, best non-stim pre-workout on the planet. That's the whole point. Why would I make something and not have it kick ass? And they're competitively priced. Margins are shit because I just want to basically ruin the lives of the other companies. It's not so that I can make any money. I make money other ways. That's not what the company is for. The company is just to get you guys the best products in Midgard or any of the 9 realms. We live? We are live, George. We are live. Georgie Porgy. Chris Keene. Is Denizen in chat? Not yet. Josh, what's up, man? I got Battle Meat in my pants. Hey, so my friend, she reached out. She paints Warhammer miniatures. I'm going to try to see if I can get a collab. Stacy Murphy, she's on Instagram. She's paints shit. Hold on. And it'd be cool if we got a live chat going or a video where you and Stacy both came on and you guys talked Warhammer. And I was basically just like the moron vehicle. You know how like in vampire movies, there's always that human who finds out about vampires, and half the fucking movie is just explaining to this human about vampires so that the audience can use that human as a vehicle. I will be the vehicle that will help the rest of the world learn about Warhammer, because you're like the Warhammer knowledge. You're like the Library of Alexandria for the Imperium. You're the Libraria Imperium, and she's the painter person, and you guys can talk about it. Baguette. At what point? Why the fuck is my screen so dark? How am I supposed to read this? Oh shit! There's a brightness button. All right, cool. At what point does taking more L-carnitine not make sense? That's an insane amount, dude. You're taking like 10 times the normal amount. All right. Hey, man. What's up, Kratos? Big human balls. Human balls. Is that like Chinese balls? Are they like Benoit balls? Is Hunan balls, Benoit balls? Why is the ball priest so HEI bent to crap on Masteron? I think he's just jealous of me, and so he wants to try to make me look bad, which backfires because then John Jewett responds to Kurt, who's got a million times more clout than Kurt. All right, Trenny, have you tried any recreational drug? I tried every recreational drug. I think that I did so many drugs, I stopped being me. I think every cell in my body was replaced with recreational drugs, but I quit drugs 25 years ago. Oh, Zionic, I went meaning to talk to you. You asked me if I'd lift with you, and I didn't respond. That wasn't because I didn't want to. It's just because I forgot. So you emailed me at some point. Email is a terrible way of communicating. Get a hold of me through Instagram, and me or Alvaro will get you my number, and then we can hook up and lift some weights. Oh, okay, cool, buddy. Hopefully you even see this. You might have logged off by now. DBD Doc, you mentioned your reason for not including caffeine in your pre-workout. Can you explain your reasoning why? Caffeine's a vasoconstrictor, and the point of pre-workouts is to give you a pump. So if you don't have a pump, the whole point of the pre-workout is to facilitate blood flow to the tissues. You have nutrient delivery, so you can get more vaso expansion. Now, some people say the pump is an anabolic. Well, the pump is a marker for stimulus. So it's kind of like tracer rounds. You know, every third round is a phosphorus round, so you can see where you're lacing the automatic weapon fire. And so if you're lifting and you're trying to hit biceps and you're getting a pump in your shoulder and a pump in your forearm but no pump in your biceps, you're not getting you're not stimulating the biceps. You got to change exercises. So with a pump product, you get a bigger pump. So you quickly discern which exercises are working for that target muscle and which aren't. So if you're getting a lower back pump during deadlifts and not a hamstring pump, lower then deadlifts are shit for hamstrings for you, the way you're doing them with that load on that day. So caffeine constricts the blood vessels, which makes it harder to get a pump, which decreases blood flow. Also, caffeine makes it so that you're not hungry post workouts. You won't eat as much, and so you won't grow as much. People can argue about this till they're blue in the face, but Henny Rambod's like the best coach in history with 25 Olympia wins, and he pioneered the no stim pre workouts. I'm going to trust Haney over a million bald priests. Let's talk about infrequent injections and bulking and Masteron versus Primo. Okay, so George knows how to troll me. I'm low hanging fruit. How Todd becomes homeless in 2025. No, what I would do, I don't know, dude. I guess I would have a scam. I'd figure this out. I guess what I'd do is I'd move to like Malaysia and I'd get like little kids to paint miniatures for me, and then I would sell them. And then, yeah, like I'd do like one brush stroke and then tell people, like, I painted this, and she'd get a Todd Lee original. Yeah. It's like, I missed the 3-hour live stream, but it was fun as hell to watch. I'm glad you liked it, man. All right. How's training? Oh, I've got a cold right now, so I'm not training. So it's kind of a sore subject because I did a deload, and then right after the deload, I got sick. So now all my gains are just melting away. Karina says I'm being silly. I was just thinking about the Legion of the Damned and their headless Primarch. Dude, it's just like shit like that. Like, if you directed it and I was competent, I could pull shit up on the screen and we could talk about it. And then Stacy would go get her miniature that she already painted of it, or show us on her Instagram page. And it would just be a fun old time for people who don't really know a lot about Warhammer. You'd educate me, and through educating me, you'd educate thousands about Warhammer. Bin 2. I don't know if that was supposed to be a whole sentence or not. Wolf, if you can handle the beta 2 symptoms, what would you max clen at? I've ran as much as 200 and never noticed. Although I hear that anything above 80 is toxic, I didn't notice any difference. Actually, that's not true. I started losing sleep at 160. All right. I've finally made it to the Solar War in the house. Horus Heresy. Okay. See, I got it. Oh, man. I've got the audiobooks all like bookmarked on Audible. I just got to pull the trigger. Have you seen Type 2X book called Bolus on HGH? It's supposedly awesome. Huh. No, I haven't. All right. How do you feel about intra-workout fructose or fast breakdown carbs, not HCBDs? Those make my tummy hurt. You maybe weren't using enough water. But yeah, as long as you've got two different carb sources, then you'll absorb faster. So two carb sources absorb twice as fast as one carb source. Two carb sources plus salt absorbs 3 times faster. And there was another factor that increases the absorption rate too, that I'm drawing a blank on, but I know I counted for it. So I only have one carb source in this because the high molecular weight of the H cluster dextrin allows you to get away with less water. Normally it has to be 92% solvent and 8% solute. I think with HCBD or highly branched cluster dextrin, or just cluster dextrin, I hate that it's got 2 names and not everyone knows both names. You can go thicker and still absorb, but maybe you can't go thicker. Maybe you got to go 92% or more water. A lot of people don't know the 92% water rule. How do you, oh, it's Malik, the king. How do you know when you're taking too much Masteron or too little? If you're not growing, you need to add your more total anabolic load. And I believe that the safest anabolic to use is Masteron. I've never ran into a situation where someone was on too much Masteron. Broderick Chavez said he ran up to 3,000 milligrams a week, had no problems. John Jewett ran 2,000 a week, had no problems. The most I ever ran was 450 a day. I never had a problem with it. Is that when the Alpha Legion turned off engines and slid into Pluto to blast that sucker darn? I don't know any of these references, man. I'm not as cool as you. Day 5. Have you ever been to a Comic-Con like convention? I'm listening to while driving over to Orlando for a MegaCon this weekend. So I was at Gen Con in 2003 when White Wolf announced that it was starting in Gehenna and that they were going to create Requiem. And at the same time as when Bloodlines was released. So it's weird. They released the best RPG of all time and their number one best video game of all time, right when they decided to end Vampire the Masquerade and start a new game, Requiem, with no plot. That did not work out well. The game mechanics of Requiem were sweet, but the plot didn't exist. Jimmy Starr. Hey, Doc, how long do you take to respond to client check-ins? Also, do you prescribe the TRT for your clients, assuming they need it? I do. Yeah, the how should I put this? The coaching program includes HRT telemedicine. Unlike Merrick, I do diets and I do the training programming. Dr. Karina Dodson does the diets and I do the training program. So you get two doctors, whereas most coaches charge $5,000 a year and they have no education and no credibility. You have two doctors, one of which is an IFBB pro, working together doing your coaching, and you get telemedicine HRT included in that. So for the fact that it's cheaper than a normal coach, you get two doctors where instead of zero doctors, you get an IFBB pro rather than zero IFBB pros. There's no rational on paper reason not to hire us. The only reason would be if you don't like me. But if you don't like me, you wouldn't be watching this channel. So it kind of is a moot point. I respond to check-ins within 48 hours. If you're in prep, then it's going to be much faster. It's usually within 12 hours. But for lifestyle clients where it's not critical, it's within 48 hours. If someone has an emergency or wants to talk to me, that it's 24-hour a day, 7-day a week phone calls. So unlike any other coach, unlike any other HRT clinic, you can call me whenever you want. You can never text me under any circumstances, and that's because it's a HIPAA violation. But you can call me whenever you want. And maybe you don't get through the first day, but I will get back to you. A lot of times I call people right back. What's the upper end to fasted cardio intensity wise while sparing muscle? I would say 70% of your max heart rate. Oh, you're talking about time? I would say 30 minutes is when cortisol begins. But if you're running nandrolone or some other type of thing like Winstrol that inhibits cortisol, you can get away with longer cardio, in theory. Oh, I got a cold, guys, so I apologize for me. I'm coughing and shit. Why should someone stop taking Tren if his blood work is good? He shouldn't, unless you can't sleep. You know, you treat the blood work. You don't treat the internet. It's like I don't care what any bald priest says. What matters is what your symptoms are and what your blood work says. Good evening. Good evening to you too, Energy. Rip Alfarius is gone, not forgotten. This is a lie. Dude, there's so many references. Thoughts in. Damn, the sentence fragments are killing me, bro. All right, 3D printer, go, brr. I don't know what you're talking about. Todd, will you be attending the Detroit Pro again this year? Yes, I will. Come say hi to me. I'm not one of the featured guests. I'll just be some schmuck walking around, but feel free to talk to me. All right. Thoughts on the shipping situation between the U.S. and China and how it'll affect PED access, UGL, and prices. I think all the smart UGLs pre-ordered enough raws to last them a year. So I think you're good. Read between the lines, if you will. All right. Pull up Dom versus Alfarius on Google Images and behold the majesty of Dorn's chain sword, Storm's tooth. All right. Hold on. What am I looking up? God damn it. I forgot already. Look at Civ Brain. All right. Let's see. Dorn versus Alfarius. Okay. All right. We gotta do this as we gotta try present Share screen. Dorn versus Alfarius. Share. All right. All right. So you got to help me, Josh. Which is the one that I'm supposed to click on? I'm just going to guess. Hold on. I'm just going to guess. How do I make this bigger? Is that what she said? All right. I don't like how this. I've never used this on a computer before. This is really crappy. Oh, this is useless to me. There it is. So I'm going to go back to the chat. What? Oh, man. It's spazzing out. It can't handle it. It can't hang. We're going to stop sharing, present, share screen. This. There you go. Share. Do it now. All right. There you go. All right. That's a cooler background. I don't want to look at me. I'd rather look at that. Okay, so that's the picture I found. I know that someone who's more techno savvy would do this faster. All right, BL for upper lower Monday, Saturday. I heard you say one exercise, 4 sets for each body part. That would be 20 sets on upper day, but only 8 on lower day. What upper muscles are you suggesting do first on leg day? 2 lesson arms. So yeah, so I don't agree that there's only 2 body parts for legs. So that there's hamstrings, adductors, quads, calves. So that's 16 sets right there. But I would do bis and tris before legs. So that makes it 24 sets. And that means that you'd have probably 4 sets of lats, 4 sets of upper back, 4 sets of chest, 4 sets of middle delts, 4 sets of rear delts. That ends up being 12, 16, 20 sets on upper day and 24 sets on lower day, since you're doing arms on lower day. All right, sets on upper day, balance it out. Remember, Dorn is probably 9-ish feet tall. All right, let's see this. Have you played Magic the Gathering? Yeah, I did in 1994. And then even that was a little too much for me. I basically played real D&D. And if you play real D&D, Magic the Gathering is basically like if you played guitar the way you look at Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero is for people who aren't smart enough to play guitar. Magic the Gathering is for people who aren't smart enough to play D&D. I know that there are people who are very smart at Magic the Gathering, but that's how I look at it. It's a poor man's D&D. Yeah, the screen name means 2 different things. Born in undescended testes, so my prostheses are probably made in China. Oh, okay. Okay, I got it. So it's a double entendre that was very personal, and I shouldn't have made fun of you about it. I'm sorry. Jimmy, they resold pretty quick. Um, do you just follow your low day, rest day diet macros when you get sick? No, I just eat my normal diet. I want the extra calories so I can burn off the infection. You said a few times on live stream that only a few people respond to steroids. Do you mean not train, eat well enough to respond, or actually no? I mean both. I think that there are very few people that are disciplined enough to make any progress at all. And of the people that are disciplined, still very few of them get much out of steroids. 9 out of 10 people who are natural that come to me and I get them to make progress by changing their training and nutrition, they make a lot of progress when they do that. And when they switch over to using anabolics, they're very disappointed with the results they get from anabolics. That the change they got from me doing their diet and training is bigger than the change they get from me giving them anabolics. That it never really helps that much. And somebody who's a smartass is going to say, that's because you use you Masteron. That's not an HRT anything. That's not even relevant. That's not, I would say 90% of these people are just using test and growth hormone. They never get to the point where they're using Masteron because they run into side effects with just test and growth hormone, not from the growth hormone, but from the test. And then they just get turned off to it. So they roll it back to an HRT dose. Where does the thought Masteron makes you flat come from? Because as they're comparing it to testosterone. So testosterone makes you hold water and Masteron doesn't. So what these people are doing is they're replacing test with Masteron and they're losing volume from water retention. B, or maybe just don't have good structured genetics, look like crap from roids. Wondering if you actually mean some people can't grow from here. I'm saying very few people will actually respond to anabolic steroids. There are low and high responders no matter how well their training or diet is. Yes, pretty much. B. And if some can't, any idea why? Because they just don't respond well. Either they had enough androgens to begin with through puberty, and so they got everything they were going to get. The people who really respond to androgens well are the people who had very low androgens as a teenager, people who grew up with a low testosterone. They change a lot. Or people with a lot of androgen receptors. All right, what is the best way of injecting GHIM for max IGF? 2 IU shots intermuscular into as many muscles as needed, or total IU is what matters? So for IGF-1, it's total that matters. Another discipline, disciple of test, mass, and GH here, Dr. T. I stumbled on test and mass back in 2016, my best gains ever. I've continued this way ever since. Now it's just with GH in the mix. All right, George, yeah, I understand, but I always thought someone couldn't grow simply because they can't create enough tension on the muscle. Yeah, you're oversimplifying it, B. There's multiple things that are necessary to grow. If any of those things are missing, the person won't grow. It's not one thing is more important than the other. You need all of them. In the case of the anabolic steroids, the chances are they either have a low androgen receptor density or they have such a high natural testosterone that going on more gear doesn't matter because they've already gotten everything they were going to get out of testosterone when they were in puberty. Darren Davis, thanks for leading the way and cutting through the bullshit. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, they won't grow well if you can't simulate the muscle well. All right. I'm like behind in this conversation, so I'm just going to stop responding to it. Magnus the Red did nothing wrong. It's like a rascal. He was told to do nothing, and he did it wrong. First image. Oh shit! All right, poor Josh. All right, here we go. In regards to China, the major cheap suppliers of masks went under last month. Now it's simply too expensive to run it or Primo. Back to test AI for me. Huh. Okay. EQ, they will make a comeback for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you can't afford Primo, there's EQ. All right. Poor Tracy, right? I don't know who Tracy is. I had an ex-girlfriend named Tracy. She was not poor. All right. I've hurt my knee, so I can't do cardio. What would you do if your knee prevented you from doing cardio? Make my knee better. Like, I don't understand. Hurt my knee. It's not very specific. People who give up on cardio get super fat and die. So I would make it happen. I would use a low impact thing like a bike or an elliptical. All right. He had good intentions though. All right. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. Oh, that's a cool one too. Like I'm just here. Rascal, remember when he punched out one of his brother's heart? What were his good intentions then? All right. B, George. Yup, Tracy. LOL. I feel like half the enthusiasts can no longer afford to run big cycles. What are you talking about? Rob plays too much. Would you cycle gear up and down in a prolonged off season? No, that's retarded. Just get your gear, you get to the minimum amount to grow and you stay there forever. All right. Maybe that's a good thing. Oh, that's so true, Todd. Analytics are overrated. The Legion of the Damned is an army of vengeance and of flame, believed to be the spirits of deceased spacemen who return to fight chaos in the Eternal's most dire need. That sounds so cool. Let's look them up. I'm sick of this shit. Let's look at Legion of the Damned. Yeah, that looks cool as fuck. All right. Yeah. This is so much more fun than steroids talk. Steroids are lame. For a 6-day upper lower split, any benefit to picking 2 exercises per body part and do 2 working sets or the 2 exercises to get more variety instead of I don't see the whole point of the upper lower is to get as much done as fast as possible. So I don't understand why people want variety. You either stimulated the muscle, or you didn't. I mean, you have, if you're doing 6-day upper lower split, you're hitting upper body 3 times that week. So you could hit chest with 3 different exercises, one on Monday, one on Wednesday, one on Friday. I mean, why would you want to hit it with 6 exercises for chest? That's insane. And 2 sets, usually the first set sucks, the second set feels great, the third set feels even better, and the fourth set, if you do a back off set's great. I mean, I usually do 3 sets per thing. So I'll hit middle delts 3 times a week with 3 sets each time. And I'll hit it with 3 different exercises, 1 each time. Very simple. I don't do what Sommerfeld does, where he does. I think Sommerfeld does the same upper body workout 3 times. I have an A. It goes A, upper A, lower A, upper B, lower B, upper C, lower C, like that. Mine actually is upper 1, lower 1, upper 2, off, upper 3, lower 2. That's actually how I do it because my legs need more recovery time. Isn't the Masteron flat thing to do with Masteron impacting aldosterone or something like that? Masteron doesn't impact aldosterone. That's the point. That testosterone upregulates aldosterone. Masteron does not upregulate aldosterone. Okay, Ferris Manus, Primarch of the Iron Hands, is believed to be there with them as the headless Primarch. That's cool. I like it. Bacillus, Doc, I want to make analysis for GH serum. Okay, which is the best time give more accurate results? AM and goes after 3 hours for IM inject, or better is the PM timing night and after going early morning. All right, if you're trying to determine what the GH levels are in the blood, then you would inject 10 units of GH, wait 90 minutes, and have the blood drawn. If it's intramuscular, if it's subcutaneous, you wait 3 hours. If you're trying to determine what the best IGF-1 response is, then you inject it the night before, and then you wait to the morning and get your IGF-1 drawn. So you're kind of confabulating 2 different things. High test gives you the bloated WWE wrestler face. Correct. Test plus mass makes you look pretty and not obviously on gear. Correct. Although I don't know why the mass would do that unless the mass is working as an allosteric estrogen receptor modulator. If it is working as an allosteric estrogen receptor modulator, it would facilitate a drier look because estrogen causes water retention both directly and through the aldosterone pathway. Kratos, are there any benefits one would miss out on if they do all their GHIM? No. These lives are pretty dope. I'm glad you enjoy them. I don't mind them either. Bacillus, for IGF test analysis is okay. The 1 week use of GH and after 7 days goes in like blood test analysis. No, what you'd want to do is do GH every day. And after 6 days is when your IGF-1 levels will be peaked. And you want to, if for maximum IGF-1, you want to do your GH before bed. B, Todd, Tracy was QSC, the major China supplier. Oh, okay. Got it. I love how they have names like that. Like, it's not like Zing Lang. It's always like Tracy. It's like, bitch, your name ain't Tracy. Come on. George Gladney. Tracy is the customer support agent for the massive UGL that went down a few weeks ago. Man, I hope she got out okay. Hopefully she's hiding out in Malaysia with the sweatshop kids. All right. Making those fine clothes so that estrogen levels stay down. Maybe do battle ropes like John Jewett does. I don't know that actually is going to burn any calories. I know that John just has an aggressive personality. That's why he does HIIT. I don't think he does it because it has to do with metabolic advantage. Yeah. He'd rather suffer and be done than just watch anime. I would rather just watch anime. Like watching a fight scene or some shit while you're doing cardio makes cardio so much faster. I'll find you like I did last year at the Detroit Pro-Am. All right, cool. Sounds good. I'll be the shortest one there. All right, Darren Davis. Doctor, what are your thoughts on deep tissue massage to loosen up adhesions and get back to mobility? I get deep tissue work done every week, and I have for like 15 years or some shit. Good suggestion, DBD. Can you suggest a few exercises that you like for upper back and lats? Just watch my video or my Instagram. Simply put, every body responds to something different. If I had to say there was one most important thing for lats, I'd say it's pull-ups or assisted pull-ups. This is not congruent with the dogma that the optimal people are teaching. If you can connect with your lats doing pull-ups, I don't think you need to do something more specific for connecting with your lats. When I switched from doing pull-ups to doing optimal training, my lats disappeared. So optimal training killed my lats. It's the only body part that got smaller in the last 4 years were the lats because I started doing optimal training for my lats. Prior to that, I did Dorian Yates style training on my lats, and my lats were one of my best body parts. So I'm going back to doing pull-ups. By the way, people don't realize this. Dorian did pull-ups before his first set of pull-downs. They just never filmed it. For upper back, it's T-bar row with various hand placements. So between pull-ups and T-bar row, and of course, I mean chest-supported T-bar row. I can't believe people still do the other way. But yeah, chest-supported T-bar row and pull-ups are the best way to build your back. B. So there's BL and B. TLDR. How do you lift heavy as fuck and stave our joints and avoiding compounds? You don't lift heavy as fuck. Where is DM for your D&D group? Were you the DM for your D&D group? It depends. Back then in 1994, yes. Bacillus. Is any supplement or medicine that can be helps for lowering cysteine C and GGG in bloods? Water. Drinking water is the best thing you can do for your kidneys. Also, cranberry juice. There's people who have fancy shit out there that have like a lot of smart people things to say. Dante Trudeau knows a lot about blood pressure and kidney stuff. He's got that stuff written up on his Instagram extensively. I think like astrologist is one of those things. I've never had kidney problems or blood pressure problems. So for me, it's just the simple shit, drinking water and eating healthy my whole life. I've never really had problems with health. I started eating clean when I was 8. So I'm not very helpful in that. I'm like, well, you're a coach and you're supposed to help people and blah, 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 blah. Generally, when you give someone a healthy diet and you hold them to it, that works better than all the supplements in the world eating what they think is healthy. What are the best and worst Smith machines you've used? Any preferences? Yes, I've got preferences. The worst Smith machine I've ever used is Beyond Strength in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where Justin Harris trains. That shit is broken as fuck. It's a nightmare using that Smith. Me and Justin would try to do incline Smiths on that, and it is so fucking dangerous because it gets locked up and shit, and the plates are not calibrated at all. But I did my 1 rep incline max there once because he was so strong. I tried to keep up with him. I got 365 for 1 on an incline Smith with the shitty one. Now you're like, well, Smith, no, there was no counterbalance. So it's heavier than free weights. It was probably like 375 plus there was friction on one side. So it was way harder than free weights. But my favorite is the Cybex. Cybex makes the best Smith machine. That West Bloomfield Powerhouse got in not 1, but 2 new Cybex Smith machines. And they're fucking gold. Smoothest shit ever. I'm not a fan of any of the angled Smith machines like the Hammer Strength. I don't know what the fuck that thing is angled. It's just so dumb. Anyway, good question. Way better than a steroid question. Energized blades, mega beams, plasma volleys often pass right through them without causing the slightest harm and not slow the legion in the slightest. That's awesome. I love incorporeal monsters. They're so scary because you can't hurt them. Todd, supposedly QSC or a supplier to QSC was responsible for the dirt cheap GH that tested 99.5% at JAMO. Okay, cool. So the stuff I get, it was never 99.5. So it was a different supplier. So I don't have to worry about that problem. All right. What's a good substitute for adductors in a home lift? Standing wide when you do squats or leg press or deadlift. The stuff Jano talked about in his interview, QSC was Jano's biggest customer. All right. In Dedicato, Imperium Ultra Articulo Mortis, even in death, I still serve. Dedicato, dedicated to the Imperium, Ultra Articulo Mortis. Mortis is death. I guess Articulo, I would think that's movement in some sense, but that's motus. Motus is movement. Articulo is obviously articulate, but I guess it counts as serve in this case. Okay. B, delete that. Shh. Oh. Well, it's gone now. Well, is it gone or is it on the run? I can't delete here. No, seriously. Click your name and hit remove. All right. How do you avoid placebo effect or bias when comparing name brand GH and non-name brand? Switching from Serostim to Metatrip today and want to be objective as possible. I mean, dude, you can't remove the placebo effect. That's the whole point of the placebo effect. Oh, you can. You'd have to go back in time and put the Metatropin in the Serostim box. And then that way, when you came to your Serostim in the present time, you'd think that you just had more Serostim and you were using Serostim, not Metatrope. But the fact that you're looking at it and bald priests have filled your head with nonsense that it's not as good, you're automatically going to go into it with a negative attitude. Vasilis, if I want to make both IGF test and GH serum test. Oh boy, we're still on this, huh? Yes, you could do that. So you could do exactly the procedure you said, and not 1 hour later, 90 minutes later, 90 minutes later, and then get both IGF-1 and GH. The planet cracked before the guard. Katia stands. All right, let's see here. Enthusiast. Ava Dominus Knox. Something God, you need to read the Night Lord's books, my man, or even better, listen to the audio books. Absolutely fantastic. You're the man, Doc. Thanks. So what books do I start with? Do I start with the Horus Heresy or do I start with the Night Lord's book? See, what there needs to be some type of document that Games Workshop comes out with. You know what? Maybe not Games Workshop because they're now been corrupted by woke leftist scum. But somebody needs to come up with a book that has the order of what to observe. You start wherever you like. I hate that. That's not useful at all. So, like, for example, if someone said to me, I've never seen Star Wars, where do I start? And they were really in, like, they came from another planet or in a time capsule, I'd have them start with episode 1 because then they wouldn't know what the fuck was going on. However, episodes 4, 5, and 6 would look so ghetto after episode 3. And then plus, would you really want to skip the Clone Wars? Or would you go 1, 2, 7 seasons of Clone Wars 3? You know what I mean? So it's almost like you have to start 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, Clone Wars 3, Rogue One, and then Andor, or Andor, then Rogue One. You know what I'm saying? You might have to go in the actual chronological timeline. Oh, man. I lost where I was. Oh, here we go. Okay. You're welcome. Thanks for the response and the adductor substitution. You are welcome. I'm also interested in what books to start with on the Warhammer 40K. Todd, you're dyeing your hair, or is the GH magically preventing gray? I dye my hair. Yeah, I'm a little bitch. All right. I do like to go with Last Church video. Valdor, Birth of the Imperium, Horus Heresy. All right, cool. I was there when Horus slew the Emperor. Oh my god. Hold on, let me mute this shit. She wants to listen to me. You guys will think this is funny. I was 44 years old when I figured out how to correctly blow my nose. I used to push the nostril. I didn't realize you have to push all the way up here. It's like the shit that having parents would have been helpful for. I swear. All right, Jeff, how do you incorporate straps in back training? You put them on? I usually do my first working. Oh, okay, it's more complicated than that. I usually do my first working set with my first exercise without straps, and then use the straps with. Nah, I use straps for every set. Otherwise, you're going to get golfer's elbow. In the long run, read the heresy books, but the Night Lords book covers a bit of their Primarch in the heresy. Soul Hunter is the first Night Lords book. Okay. What's a good hair dye? I don't know. My hairdresser does it. I don't do it myself. But if you go to Sally's Beauty Supply, I'm sure they'll have someone there who'll be able to help you. Nothing was written in order until the Horus Heresy. Okay. Do you think some can grow without training to failure? Yes. Yes, of course. That you grow best with the 2 to 1 RR range. That training to failure is not optimal if you're doing multiple sets. Training to failure is only optimal if you're doing one work set or work set back offset. I.e., stories of huge guys lifting light and still making huge gains. In those cases, most of those guys have some African DNA that facilitates that type of training. Astrologists, such supplements for protection of kidneys will be okay. The simple astrologist report. I don't fucking know, dude. That's what I was saying is I don't know the fancy nerd talk for kidney and blood pressure health. What I know is that if you live your life perfect, you won't really have kidney or blood pressure health. And so I advocate proper living. But I know that Dante has a lot of supplements that are how you fix fuck ups with lifestyle. What's this? What is that schmutz that's supposed to be a logo? I can make comments too. All right, what am I going to say? Okay, I'm out. Thanks for the live stream, Todd. Have a good night. Okay, I guess B's going to bed. Good night, B. Let me look up something cooler or different. Cooler is relative, right? Let's look up corn. Oh. Now, this is more my style, dude. If I was going to paint a miniature, I would start with this dude. Because he looks bad as fuck. What? Are you frozen? Fuck you and you're freezing. Oh, no, it didn't freeze. There we go. There we go. That's my jam. All right, let's do this. Nope. Yep. That is cool as fuck. Look how cool that is. We're going to get rid of you. This guy is so goddamn cool. Dude, that is just the sweetest fucking demon ever. If I was a demon, that's what I would want to look like. Oh, Constantine Valdor is the name that brings both images of heroism, honor, and peerless duty. For it is he who commands the will of the Legio Custodes. Now, the Custodes, I think I know a little bit about them. They are the all-male, although now they're female, force that serves the emperor. They're like his personal guard. Is that what they are? Grim Hood. What up, Todd? Have you encountered anyone who's experienced Bear mentioned with Masteron, who's a generic low aromatizer. Any problems encountered? I'm a low aromatizer. I don't understand what Masteron has to do with aromatization because it's absolutely fucking nothing. Angron? I don't know. DBD. Josh, have you played any of the new Warhammer games recently? Like Dark Ride or Space Marine 2? Space Marine 2. How do you like it? Oh God, we're caught up? I've never been caught up before. I wonder why this is not as popular today as it is other days. We're only at 29 people. I'm still answering all the inane, boring steroid questions. I haven't rejected a single steroid question. We're just, like we said, additionally more interesting subjects like training, nutrition, and Warhammer. Oh, it's dead in here. It's dead in here. All right, here we go. Greenwood. Awesome. That's what I was expecting from what you've said about it. But I keep seeing people talk about nonsense about aromatase inhibition. Yeah, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Not a single one of them went to school, so they don't know what aromatase inhibition actually is. It's just words they memorized, like priests memorizing a prayer. All right, correct on Custodes. After they failed to save Big E, they sentenced themselves to live on Terra. All right. But how would they have saved him when he was in the duel with Horus? That's not their role to participate in a duel. They're bodyguards. All right, Todd, are you of the opinion that aliens are extraterrestrial or interdimensional? Well, if they're extraterrestrial, they are interdimensional by default, right? So angels, people believe would be or demons would be interdimensional, but they're also by definition extraterrestrial. And if you look at the description of angels in the Bible, they could easily be attributed to spaceships and shit. You know, like a circular disc spinning with multiple eyes, with feet like upside down braziers, with thousands of torches. That sounds like thrusters on a flying saucer that have lots of windows in them. So I think aliens and interdimensional beings are intertwined. Plus, it's like how there's the multiverse, right? But there's also planes of existence we don't communicate with. Like, isn't Cthulhu a fifth dimensional being? So, I mean, he would technically be extra dimensional and extraterrestrial because he came from off world and he's also a fifth dimensional being. All right. As a natty, do you have any tips for wanting to try to get into amateur show? Do you coach any natties? I do coach natties. In fact, I coached a guy who's in his 50s and won a show. He even has some health problems. Most of the people who hire me have health problems. So I think you can do it. I think that doing natty shows is less healthy than at least running HRT because once you plummet your calories and overtrain, the steroids protect you from the side effects of overtraining insofar as your testosterone stays elevated, which protects you against the cortisol. Mark Lobliner discussed this ad nauseum in extreme detail with extreme perfection in the Natty or Not episode of Jubilee on YouTube, where he was saying that to a natural bodybuilder, that if you were using HRT, you would be healthier than doing natural bodybuilding. Worse, the Custodes he brought were hollowed out and attacked Big E. Such a shame. Oh no. Someone controlled them with Dominator some shit. It took the return of the Big Blueberry or Toilet King, Ultramarines flag, to get them to re-engage with the universe. So you don't like the Ultramarines, huh? If entering a bodybuilding competition for the first time as an old man, 50, would I be signing up as both novice and masters? Yes. You'd be signing up as true novice, novice, masters, and there's probably novice masters. You can do open too, fuck it. But I mean, definitely masters has usually no weight classes. True novice is where you want to start. And I assume you're asking about NPC. Have you ever seen fake GH and it's Proviron instead? Is this supposed to be like a Denison joke? Because Proviron has nothing to do with GH, bro. Proviron is DHT. Listen. All right. Michael Kuchia. Nicholas Kosia. Kuchia. I think it's like a knife. Is your name Knife? Hi, Dr. Lee. I never catch you in time for your live stream. I'm a huge fan and just wanted to let you know I greatly appreciate your contributions and knowledge. Thanks so much, man. I wasn't making fun of your name. I was just trying to pronounce it, I promise. All right, Jeff. Todd, do you have a story time similar to the topics covered? Do you have a story time similar to the topics covered in your podcast with Colton related to relationships between men and women? Do you have a story time similar to the topics? Okay, so you're asking, is there any of my own material on my channels, an elaboration off of the material I covered in my dating episode with Colton from last year? The answer is no, but I did start shooting that content. We were planning on releasing it later in the summer after the Trump bulldozer grinds the woke people to dust. Once I'm uncancelable, then that's when all will be revealed. That it will not be Andrew Tate stuff. It will not be PUA stuff. It will not be manipulating people. It'll basically be the opposite. That I believe that PUA stuff and manipulation of women is what people who lack attractiveness or charisma do to compensate for being unattractive or uncharming. Mine is more like how to be more attractive and or how to be more charming. When I'm not very charming and I don't consider myself very attractive, but I know what it's like to be ugly and rude. So I basically have learned through trial and error what not to do. So it's mostly like a compendium of shit not to do with women is the best way to put it. It's like what won't work. And, basically, I have proved the null hypothesis. I am like, having holes in your shirt and stains on it is not a good thing. So we want shirts that have no holes and no stains, and ideally no wrinkles. Things like that. All right. I recall you mentioning it's easier to maintain consistency when not going to absolute failure. If someone does 2 sets, 1 heavy, low reps, next 25% less, higher reps, there is more to this question. I'm just going to read it. Oh, no, there isn't more to this question. Oh, here it is. Would leaving 3 to 5 reps in the tank be more sustainable fatigue-wise? It would be, but that's not optimal. If you watch the How to Grow episode 9, Reps in Reserve or Failure video that I did about a year and a half ago, and if you go to this channel and click playlist and go down to How to Grow, episode 9, that you should watch all of them because they'll probably all benefit you if you don't know this. But I show you the graphs that were constructed based off of meta-analyses that prove that the 1 rep in reserve is the absolute ideal and how to determine whether you are 1 rep in reserve. All right. I will check that out. Thanks, Doc. I don't know what you're talking about. As a natty, here you go. Yes, and I don't know how that's checking that out. But anyway. I love making fun of ultramarines from Ultramar. All right. What exercise do you do for side delts other than dumbbell or cable side laterals? I kind of prop myself up on a bench so I'm at an angle, and I do my laterals that way, and it works on my middle delts much better than just doing standing laterals. Standing laterals seems to get my traps. Laying down and doing them, not completely laying down, but like a 60-degree angle, really gets my middle delts. And then I also do like the machine laterals. Depends on the brand. The hammer strength is a good one. That's a good question, as I've thought about that as well, being over 50 and wanting to step on stage one day. No idea what you're talking about. There's so many questions that I disconjointed. My last name is Sicilian. It means kennel. Okay, got it. It did look Italian. All right, kennel. All right. I just got off a call for a project to start an HRT clinic in my area since all the ones here suck ass. Do you know of any resources for looking into legal and business issues for getting started? No, I don't. Um, Rick Collins is my steroid defense attorney. You should contact Rick Collins, and he might, there might be a fee for him to oversee or help you. He might have a starter kit for paperwork, or he might be able to direct you to someone in your area that's barred in your state that is knowledgeable in steroid law and can help you with that. But Rick Collins is the way to go. He's on my Instagram. Let me see if I can find him on here. It's a really cool guy, honestly. Yeah, he's just Rick Collins ESQ on Instagram for Esquire. All right. Sammy G, can you go a long way by treating women like basic human beings? Start with a simple conversation and don't talk down and treat them like a sex thing. I that it might be true if they're healthy, yeah. Really healthy people might respond to being treated good. In my experience, very few people are healthy and they respond to being treated poorly. And so I would rather not treat someone poorly, even if that's how I would win. But I don't know that that would be enough for most people. I think if you're attractive, that would be enough. But I think if you're not an attractive guy, that may not be enough. Yeah, I think you'd get friend zoned real quick if you were really respectful and kind to people and you're not attractive. I'm a psychotherapist and I have a practice partner who is like minded MD. All right, cool. So he can be your medical director. That's sweet. Um, who asked the question? Was it because Sammy G just seemed to get triggered by that? Yeah, it wasn't Sammy who asked the question. Jeff asked the question. And Sammy, you seem to get triggered by that. I'm sorry if you got triggered. Maybe you should watch my video about what I talked about with Colton so you understand the context of what we're talking about. Most of the people who liked that video were women, not men. That they actually liked that I was giving men that advice. So, all right. Ryan Root could help you over that on hormones for me. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for the clarification. I'll watch through each of those and how to grow episodes again after this live stream. Yeah. I mean, specifically, I think episode 9 is the reps and reserve, how to versus failure one. And that's specific to your question. Thank you to Michael, Matt Mason. Where are you located, Nicholas? Okay, cool. We're all helping each other. It's like a community. Pop quiz. Name the praying arcs you know. Oh my God. I don't know that many of their names. I feel like such a dick. All right, so Horus is the easiest one. Then there's Sanguinus. Oh, and there's like my favorite one, which is the Thousand Suns guy. I don't know his name though. And then there's the guy who's the leader of the Sea Wolves. He's got a funny sounding name. It's normal. God, I don't know any of their names, but I can visualize a lot of them. I watched a whole documentary about the Primarchs. All right. Ryan Root might have some insight since he's currently getting licensed across the US. All right. I got an interview with him on like the 18th, I think. I better contact him. Matt Mason, Albuquerque. Conrad Cruz. Yep, that's one. Enchanted Land. It's funny. Oh, I wasn't triggered. I was just chiming in. All right, cool. So said you can as a statement, not can you as a question. Okay. All right. Hello, Dr. Todd. My DHT lab result came in at 2. Whoa! I'm on dutasteride 1.5 milligrams a week. Wow! 1,000 milligrams test. No, I think you're on way too much fucking test. And you're in way too much fucking boldenone. That the boldenone's crushed your estrogen, and you're converting almost all of that test over to DHT. Jesus Christ, I've never heard of that much DHT before. That's a terrible cycle for you. Bring that test way the fuck down. Oh my God. George Magnus, do you have any hair left? If you already lost all your hair, fuck it, let it rip. But if you want to save your hair, get the fuck off that cycle and get a consult. All right. Google Magnus the Red. Okay. What to do? Oh. Oh, son of a bitch. You got to take me to Instagram and they won't let me log in. Fuck you, Instagram. Little bitch. It's my computer. I should get to log into my Instagram if I want. I don't need passwords. Passwords are for bitches. The fuck is this? Oh my God, I hate this computer shit so much. It never does this on a fucking phone. Fuck your ad. Oh my God, I hate you. There you go. And it's moving. How irritating is that shit? Man, I just gotta say, computers are so much more fucking irritating than phones. The phones don't do any of this crap. All right, yeah, definitely Magnus is a tragic story. Great book. Magnus the Red console, the first made it console and first image. Okay. Okay, hold on. What'd you say? Magnus the Red console and first image. Okay. So we read council. All right. There you go. All right. It's really weird, by the way. I went down the 40K rabbit hole like 2 weeks before you guys started talking about it on here. I think God is trying to tell me to tap into my inner Astarte. It's like, at least it's not CrossFit. Nothing's more irritating than when a channel starts changing direction and going to CrossFit. But obviously, Warhammer's a million times more interesting than steroids. All right, Doc, have checked my IGF-1 before starting GH and was 80 nanograms per ml. With low IGF-1, if the GH is good, to waiting to see results here near to 200 nanograms, or don't play roll the low IGF score. No fucking idea what you're saying, bro. Not a clue. I go for a 300 or more IGF-1, and I don't stop until I get it. That's what I know. All right. Thanks for the tips, Matt and Josh. Much appreciated. All right. How far into fasted cardio is it safe to have T3? What? No. I have large amounts of coffee and Greek yogurt in meal one, and both are said to inhibit absorption. So trying to space T3 in meal one. Huh? I mean, I don't understand what any of these things have to do with each other. If you're using liquid T3, then it wouldn't matter. You don't have to worry about absorption with food because you're absorbing it through your mouth, not through your gastric tract. That everything should be liquid. Nothing should ever be oral. Hi, Todd. How should I approach training if I'm having ulnar nerve transposition on both elbows? The surgery is 6 weeks apart. I don't know, man. I've never heard of this. I guess when you're feeling better, lift. I mean, yeah, I mean, you would wait until the surgeries are completed. And then when you're 100%, you start lifting the weights again. But doc, all my marker is normal. Even by 2 glasses of water, my hematocrit came 50. 2 glasses of water ain't shit, and 50 is not high. I tell people to drink a gallon of water before they go get their blood drawn, and I guarantee you won't have over a 54 hematocrit. I know what you're thinking. Why did Magnus take off his shirt? Look at those pecs. What? Who wears a shirt with those pecs? 40K is the most masculine sci-fi fantasy there is, and it's no wonder why so many men fall hard down that rabbit hole, and why the woke mob is trying to corrupt it. You're right, PHL. Who's PHL? 40K showing up on your feed means you're so masculine, AI fears you. Danny Rodriguez. Could you give input on my current maintenance diet? Meal 1, 96% beef, rice, 90 meal 2, 99% turkey, rice, apple, meal 3, post workout, 99% turkey, rice, banana, meal 4, post turkey, bison, rice, blueberry. Sounds perfect. It's really low in fat. So hopefully this is a cut diet, not a grow diet. Meat is 8 ounces uncooked. Rice is usually 180 grams cooked. So if it's jasmine, 180 grams cooked, it's about 72 grams of carbs. And if it's 8 ounces uncooked, it's 48. So it's 50, 72. And you're doing what looks like to be 5 meals, 50. So it's 250, 350. That means that it is 2,400 calories. You have almost no fat at all. So this is like a 2,600 calorie diet. I don't know what your goal is. Looks like you're cutting. So that's a good cut diet. Yeah, phlebotomy is retarded. Why wouldn't you want red blood cells? They carry oxygen. All right. Do you see the Primark in white in the background of the image? Yeah, right here. That's a good point. I'll give you a hint. He's got a Mongolian name. Oh, yeah, that's the Khan guy. Can you find the Emperor? I can't see shit with this fucking light on. Here, you guys, how do you like it? Oh, where were you the night of February the 29th? All right, let's turn this shit off. Enough of that shit. That was hard. Oh, oh my God, you can see things in this picture now that there's no light in my fucking eyes. There's this guy. There's the Emperor right up here in his golden throne. Jagatide Khan. 5 points for Slytherin. I'm actually House Hufflepuff. I know everyone thinks that I'd be Slytherin, but I'm actually Hufflepuff. People who meet me in person, they're like, "You're so much nicer than I thought you'd be." They always say 3 things. They're like, "You're way bigger than I thought you'd be. You're way shorter than I thought you'd be, and you're way nicer than I thought you'd be." So I'll take 2 out of 3. Ain't bad. Oh. The gold men next to him are custodians. Dude, I can't see that shit. What am I, like 11? Oh, I can see it now. Dude, this has hurt my eyes so bad. Oh, God hates me. Okay, -5 points for being Hufflepuff. There's nothing wrong with being honest and loyal and true. All right. What is a Primarch? Something Warhammer game? Yes. You don't have a Zoom? Oh, maybe I do. How do I do that? With this thing? I use a phone. I only use the computer when I'm doing this. Oh, you can zoom in. How cool is that? Do you like push the mouse wheel in? I don't know how to get this shit to work. Oh my God. Oh, all right. This question, man. How embarrassed must you be right now? Primarch is a title for a legion leader. Ushtan was my favorite Thunder Warrior Primarch. It's even weirder than they change it because there's only supposed to be 20. And then 2 and I think 18 or 2 and 11 don't exist for some mystical reason, which makes me want to know more, of course. And then I guess when people die, they get replaced, but it's not a real Primarch because it's not the son of the Emperor. The other thing I don't understand is how the gene seed changes. The Thunder Warriors were the beast before the 20 Primarchs. Wait. That's true. Okay. The Primarchs. So, like, what were the Thunder Warriors? Are like 26,000, and the Primarch started around 30,000. Or was it all within 30 and 31,000? But the rise of the Emperor, the Thunder Warriors, the colonization of Terra, the formation of the Primarchs, the scattering of the Primarchs, the collecting of the Primarchs, the revolt of Horus and the 9 Chaos Primarchs, and then the war. And it all took place within 1,000 years, so that by 31,000, the universe was completely different than it was at the dawn of the 31st millennia. Wrought to be living weapons, the Thunder Warriors are known to be physically stronger, more savage, more resilient, and more potent in combat than their later Astartes. Yeah, unfortunately, this episode is not doing as well. I think it's because people are so offended by the Warhammer. I think we'll purge a lot of woke people that identify as men by talking about Warhammer. Thunder Warriors, Custodes, Astartes ended up serving at the same time around 30 to 31. The Thunder Warriors were defeated at Mount Arak. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that I think a large percentage of men think that steroids are going to turn them into men, and so they're obsessed with steroids. And that when they use steroids, they're very disappointed that they do not become men. They become even less emotionally stable and more feminine in their inability to control their emotions. That stoicism does not come in a bottle. You don't become a man because you inject steroids in your body. That you become less stoic by using steroids. But you become more stoic if you play Warhammer. Are you still using the BPCTV5 spray? It never is using a spray. I use Butcher Bomb on my knees, and it works great. People are like, "Where do I get it?" I'm like, "I don't know. Google." Fucking lazy turd. Why do people ask that? Like, is my name Google bitch? Like, Thunder Warriors are unstable and often explode from rejections of their augmentations. Nicholas Kushina. I have a client who is pro skier who fractured both his tib fibs and blew both his knees. The doctors in his PT cleared him for ski again, and he broke his legs again. Okay, that's not good. He is seeing me for coaching and therapy. Programming wise, we're doing lower body emphasis and focusing on compound heavy lifts to increase bone density. Okay, good shit. I'm sure you want to do testosterone and GH probably to make his bones denser, and hopefully no AI, since you need estrogen for that too. Not that I would lean on drugs, but you had brought up that you were going to start an HRT clinic. That I think nothing beats heavy load. If anti-gravity can make bones soft, then increased gravity can make bones dense. Danny Rodriguez, in your experience, how fast do you make changes to a diet? Do you take the average daily weight and after a few weeks you gain, lose too much, you then make a change? Yeah, pretty much. I like to see someone, if they're losing weight, I like to see about a 1 pound a week fat loss. If they're gaining weight, I like to see about a 1 pound a month weight gain. Uh, I went ahead and started him on TRT, and before I use a GH to promote healing and the development of muscle mass to support his bones, was considering an antivitamin EQ to promote connective tissue. I don't know if I would go that far. I think that you're going to get enough connective tissue out of the testosterone. Once you start throwing in weird shit, then you run the risk of other, like the anti-estrogen of the EQ is going to contradict you'll have increased collagen synthesis, but you'll less, because there's less estrogen, you'll have less bone formation. So the whole goal is to have more bone. So I would just stick with the test and the GH. Bacillus. Oh, here we go. 300 milligrams per, with what doses of GH, doc? It depends on the individual, man. Key concept here. What you put in your body is irrelevant. It's what your blood, it's what your body does with it is what matters. You could use 2 units and get more out of it than I do out of 8. It's completely irrelevant what one person does. What matters is what you do and what you get out of it. Any other compounds that would help him increase bone density? Not really. Not that I can think of. Growth hormone and test is pretty much all you need. It's not like you're trying to make him super human. He just has osteomalacia or some shit. I mean, I don't know, how could you break both your legs? You break 4 bones skiing and go back out and break those 4 bones again. You got some serious nutritional deficiencies. You're welcome, bud. I think he said the tibia and fibula in both legs twice. This is what he said, Josh. Oh no, here it is. Yeah, tib fib. Oh, okay. Okay, both his tib fibs and blew both his knees. That's just not normal. Like, how the fuck do you do that? Did he jump off of a fucking cliff and into a helicopter? Like, I don't know how can you fuck up that bad? I'm gonna go get some water. Is he Mr. Glass? No, fucking unbreakable. That's funny, dude. Uh, he is an extreme skier. Well, he was an extreme skier. Now he's gonna be a mediocre lifter for a while. All right, like. Yeah. Oh man, people listening are gonna be pissed. And I'm just ripping through these questions, catching up because it's people having a conversation. It has nothing to do with me or you are. Oh, Imperial Guard and their commissars. Let's look up Imperial Guard. All right. So at least I'm happy that there are enough people who are into Warhammer that there's not a complete revolt that we're discussing something that isn't. How much Masteron do I use to aromatize my testosterone? The bald priest told me so. It has to be. Oh, it's Robert. What's up, man? You got key light set up? No, man. I just had to turn the light down because it's hurting my eyes too much. I've been on for an hour and a half, and my eyes cannot take this light in my eyes. When Abaddon the Despoiler cracked Cadia with the kamikaze Blackstone Fortress, the galaxy split in twain. How to add Ment to 350 a week test cycle? I don't know, just add it to your trash can. All right. G2G. There are heretics and aliens for me to eradicate. Thanks for the tips, guys, and thanks for everything you do, Doc. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, buddy. Have a good one, Nick. For the Emperor. All right. What's your favorite Worm Shepherd album? The new one, Hunger. is probably my favorite album right now by them. I haven't really delved into their discography yet. The last track off the new album, the first track and the last track off the new album are incredible. Holy shit, that's some good shit. It's so dramatic, that last track. All right. On the remaining rocks of Cadia, laser blasts were still going. The planet cracked before the guard. All right, let's see here. My last blood test, my IGF-1 levels were 369. Great. Yes. That over 300, you start running the risk of getting the side effects. So I think that 300's a great place to be. You know, obviously you'll get more out of 400, but you might also get, like, my shoes. I just ordered some shoes. I ordered a size 10 and a half. They sent me a size 12. They're more comfortable. So I went from a size 9 to a size probably 11 and a half shoe. And at the very least, I went from like a 9 to an 11 shoe. I have a pair of 11s that I bought in August, which don't fit already because my feet are too big for them now. So, yeah, I mean, if your feet are getting that, my skull and then the skin on my face has grown a lot in the past year and a half. A lot of people think I look older, but in person, I don't look older. I just have more skin. Like Shar-Peis, there's puppy Shar-Peis. They're not old. They're a fucking puppy. They just have a lot of skin on their face. Oh, wait. What are the side effects of being high? Well, I think it's a growth factor. It's what makes you grow. So I think my hands and feet are bigger. And the skin on my face, there's more skin on my face. People say Masteron makes you older. I don't think that's what it is. I think the GH through IGF-1 makes your skin grow. So your skin grows thicker. And so, like I said, it's like you look like a Shar-Pei. I look like a Shar-Pei compared to a year and a half ago. I did not look like a Shar-Pei. Now I look like a Shar-Pei. And that's probably from the GH. I doubt it's from the Masteron. You know what they say about guys with big feet? They have valuable advice. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Yeah, dude, that new one is great. Yeah. Samson has a hunger head now. What? Oh, a huger head. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not all bad. Like we were talking about women earlier. Women do like a bigger brow, bigger cheekbones, bigger jaw, bigger chin to a point. But at what point does the extra masculinity no longer look attractive? That there's a one modal curve for women, right? As beauty increases, attractiveness increases. As beauty decreases, attractiveness decreases. Age decreases beauty, so age decreases attractiveness. With men, there's a bimodal curve. So there's beauty, and then there's also masculinity. So as age increases, masculinity increases, but at some point, as age increases, beauty decreases, masculinity still increases. So I might look older than I did 2 years ago, but I might look better than I did 2 years ago to a woman if they like the more masculine jaw structure, the more masculine bone structure. That yes, you have more wrinkles, but you also have a better skull. So I'm not going to. And then the other thing is, women's feedback is tempered by their psyche. Like they're not going to give you honest feedback because they're not in touch with their own feelings half the time. So they're going to, like, they'll say that dad bods are sexy and that abs are gross. They're full of shit. They're insecure about their bodies. So they prefer a guy who looks bad so that they can feel more comfortable being naked with him. So you're not getting honest feedback. So you can't ask them for feedback. You can only observe their behavior, not listen to their words. I'm wondering if he got smarter. He does look bad. Who are we talking? Oh, we're talking about Samson. Yeah. VTM campaign right now. I'm basically about to start up an old chronicle. that we put on hold a while ago. That's a 5th edition Chicago Chronicle. Basically, the character became Primogen of Clan Ventru, and then he started a river casino, and he's taking the river casino through the Great Lakes, and he's going to stop in New York for a bit. So he's going to have a river boat casino off the coast of Manhattan so that it doesn't have to deal with New York law for casino. And I'm going to run a brief New York Chronicle, basically intertwining with the 3 video games and the show New York by Night. That's the official canon for New York now. I ran a Chronicle in New York around 2001. So about 24 years ago, I ran a Chronicle in New York for the same player. And so now he, with a different character, is revisiting the city 24 years in the future. And it's going to be interesting is because we're both involved with the War of 1999 in New York. So when New York fell from the Sabbat to the Cam, he eventually got to be the prince after Calabas stepped down. And then Gehenna happened, and now this is post-Gehenna. So it'll be interesting. Like Kate Wise is now, I think, Bruja Primogen. Aisling Sturbridge is still Regent of the 5 Boroughs. Helene Pinard has used her vicissitude to shave off a lot of the body fat so she looks young again. It's an interesting adaptation off of the original New York by Night. The evil Reed Richards stretching his brain out to make himself smarter. What are you talking about, dude? What the fuck are you talking about? We had a live action Chronicle based in New Jersey, New York, with around 50, 70 players a month. Wish you had been there. We rented hotels to play. It was huge. Dude, I ran a live action game around 2003 when we converted Detroit from a Cam to a Sabbat game. And there was like 50, 70 people there. People came in from all over for Valentine's Day. And it was like, I had it be like a Sabbat attack. And that basically the Sabbat attack, a lot of the players had converted over to Sabbat characters, and I let them cannibalize some of their experience points to become Sabbat so that their characters were getting killed off in the fight. And we had a strobe light and stuff set up. And then one girl's like, the strobe gives me seizures. And it was like some girl that no one really liked anyway. So it sucks. She ruined everything for everyone rather than just fucking leaving the room. I hate people. Oh my God, I hate people. All those months of planning. And this girl had to ruin it because she gets seizures from strobe lights. Like, bitch, go in a different room. This fucking whole speakeasy. You don't have to be in the room. Circa mid-90s. Yeah. 90s were so much better. No cell phones. No cameras, so like vampires could just do whatever the fuck they wanted and never get caught. Reed Richards, Fantastic Four. I know who Reed Richards is, bro. I just don't know what you're talking about. I'd rather see the next Sonic than Marvel or DC at this point. Thanks, Wonky Woes. Wokey Wokes. Dude, lots of Toreador chicks. Yeah, there's always Toreador chicks. There's always Toreador chicks. I'm always a Shimisi fan myself. I like the La Sombra a lot too. In the Sabbat game, most of the girls play La Sombra or Shimisi rather because they're like the super hot Shimisi, right? When the Shimisi, you want the good combination is a Xantosa Revenant who's embraced either Toreador Antitribu or Shimisi because they get presence and vicissitude in clan. Auspex, presence, vicissitude. One of the best combinations you can fucking have. Because you can make yourself ultra hot and you have Auspex and presence. So you're better than a Toreador at being a Toreador. So a Xantosa, who's then embraced into a Toreador Antitribu, is the best combination. There's more Xantosa Toreador Antitribu than there are Xantosa Shimisi, I think. In your opinion, if you have too much muscle mass, would the majority of the mainstream women find you unattractive? Yes. It depends on where you're wearing the muscle, though. So too much muscle mass means that you're not symmetrically put together, that you have a lot of the core, your midsection's big. Whereas I think if you have a small midsection and most of your muscles are in your arms and your shoulders and your chest, women will like it. Like all women like the way men's physique look. Even mainstream women like the way men's physique look. Most women like the way classic physique look. Almost no women like open bodybuilding, and 0 women pretty much like 212. So being short and fat is bad. Being tall and thin is good. So if you have a small waist and you're tall, then it doesn't, you, as long as you put on as much muscle as you want, as long as it goes in the right places. Strobe lights rule. Yeah. The chicks did white shoulders. Yeah, they do. And if women say that they don't like muscles, they're lying. They're just insecure about their body, so they don't want an attractive man because they don't believe an attractive man would like them, or that they'll think an attractive man will cheat on them. But physiologically, they're still attracted to attractive men. And attraction is universal. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. No, there's preference, so that a girl, like if you're objectively an 8, some girls might think you're a 9, some girls might think you're a 6, some girls might even think you're a 4. But that doesn't change the fact that you're objectively an 8. If you're objectively a 3, no girl is going to think that you're a 9. That's not going to happen. So I like to look at it as that preference can be up to plus or minus 2. So being better than an 8 is kind of pointless, because even if you're an 8, there's still plenty of people who are going to think you're a 9 out of 10. All right. I've been on for almost 2 hours. My throat's getting torn the fuck up. All right. You have to fight one animal to death and lose. Which one you got you? If you had to fight one animal to death and lose. So if I was going to die in a fight with an animal, which one would it be? I don't know. Probably not a jellyfish. That sounds really bad because you're drowning, and that's how you die. Probably not a gator. Probably not a hyena. This is a really tough one. What's an animal I wouldn't mind dying from? So I don't even know which animals have neurotoxins that kill you quick. Like, I guess that's what I'd want, some type of venomous creature that can kill you really quick. Not that you get sick and die slow. So I don't know if that's cobra, scorpion, spider. There's got to be something that kills you quick. Fictional or real? Well, that's just so goddamn confusing then. Not a giant spider, because you get wrapped up in like webbing and it would just drink your blood. It would basically inject you full of like acid, and then as you decompose, it would just feed on you over time. That's a very slow death. I'd want something much faster with a neurotoxin. See immunities kill you before your nerves register the pain. All right, then that's the one. I see it like a sponge. Like how die you? Like you got killed by a sponge. The Instagram story you shared earlier was dope. The Harry Potter versus Urukai. I feel like a million would have been a problem. Dude, Harry fucks shit up. I like that they had force lightning on one end and fireballs on the other, and that the Urukai didn't even surround them. They even surrounded Legolas and Ranger and all of them at the foot of Mount Doom. They at least surrounded them then. They didn't even surround the Harry Potter kids. Like, it didn't make any sense at all. Irikikanji in Australia, neurotoxin. Irikanji. Did you guys notice, and I just found this out, how many Asian people live in Australia? That's cool as fuck. It's like Asian chicks that you can understand when they talk. Aragorn is the ranger. Yeah, I know Aragorn's name. I just couldn't call it off the top. It's a Isildur's heir. I just felt like such a fucking poser. It's like I had to call him Ranger. God, what a douche. It's like, do you know 1,000 psychers are sacrificed to the golden throne to keep the emperor alive? That I do know every day. And in the past 10,000 years, what's 10,000 years times, that's 10 million psychers times 365. That's 3.65 billion psychers have been sacrificed to the emperor since his fight with Horus. I did the math at one point. It's so brutal. Like, you could not come up with something brutal. And he's like, just so that he can hold the warp open so that they can do their star travel, so they can conquer more worlds. So they're sacrificing billions of psychics to be able to have the option to execute more innocent people on other planets. It's so weird. It is so weird. If the woke even knew how fucking imperial and racist Warhammer and sexist Warhammer was, they would stop at nothing to destroy it. But it's so complex and so intricate and so cerebral. It's so over their heads since they're all emotional sacks of shit and they can't think their way out of a wet paper bag. They wouldn't be able to concentrate for more than the 90 seconds of a TikTok. So since you can't sum up Warhammer and TikTok, they'll never be able to follow it long enough to destroy it. All they understand is Amanda Stillenberg and her feelings. And anything more complicated than the Acolyte is over their heads. Okay. TRT question. If you got on TRT and raise your testosterone to a new level, do your gains stay as long as you keep that same testosterone level? Yeah. And yes, basically. What's up, my man? How you doing, doctor? I'm thinking about trying out injectable D-ball with my test EQ cycle. How would you run those numbers all together? I would throw the D-ball in the garbage where it belongs. All right. I was shocked they didn't surround them. Yeah, I know. It doesn't make any sense they wouldn't surround them. Is Dr. Todd into firearms? I'm into firearms to a degree, yes. Not as much as when, like 30 years ago when I was in middle school. Then I really liked guns. But now that I'm bigger, I don't really feel guns are as necessary. I'm just kidding. It's 1,000, it's 10,000 a day. What? When did it go to 10,000? I thought it was only 1,000 a day. Psychers are the danger to everyone. They can be hollowed out by demons and turned into flesh portals into the warp. Yeah, I guess that's true. A pentagram in every skull. That's fucking funny. So does that mean that all of the 1,000 suns can be used as vehicles? Okay, awesome. Time to get some Anavar for pre-workout. Yay. Remember, sublingual. This swole is a space marine. All right, what time is it now? It's 9. Holy shit, I just woke up. The woke planets are welcome psychers. What? The woke planets that welcome psychers during the Age of Strife were quickly destroyed. Yeah, sublingual. Good shit. 1,000 suns have no flesh. Their soul is bound to armor. Well, they're like mummies, right? Because like their bodies would turn into dust. And this dust is only contained inside the power armor. So the 1,000 suns are basically like mummies. It's almost like undead wizards trapped in power armor. It's just cool as fuck. I got to learn more about them. It's kind of like if it was an Iron Maiden song was turned into a Warhammer team. Then I also want to learn about the World Eaters because of that Bolt Thrower song from their 1989 album Realms of Chaos. Any love for the Eldar? I don't know enough about the Eldar. I know that, what do you call it? Dude, my brain is mush on this cold medicine. Stacy Murphy. Yeah, Stacy's favorite ones are the Eldar. So I'm going to learn more about the Eldar just to have conversations about that. It's like the Alphonse and Full Metal Alchemist. Yes, that's a good point. That's a good point. We are still learning pre-marks and legions. Like Todd's still in elementary school, boys. He hasn't made it past. He's still at 30K. He's not even anywhere close to 41K. It's like Eldar Harlequins are cool. So little. I know so little. All right, guys. I gotta go. I gotta go to the meal in. I've only had one meal today. It's already 9 o'clock. All right. May the force be with you.